Great, thanks. Hi everyone, my name is Ken Herron. I'm the Chief Growth Officer for UIB, and with me I have a very special guest, one of UIB's resellers, Joe Gravante, who is the CEO and co-founder of Union Studio. So he's going to do the live demo for us. So let me go ahead and get started, and we will have Q&A at the end. What is audience experience? You know, another bad marketing term. Customers need you to help them to solve their number one problem, and that problem is audience experience, or AX. What matters the most to brands, to businesses, and to governments as we're all moving into 2023, and you guys know this, these are the experts in the room, is the ability to engage a specific target audience. And this audience can be customers, employees, citizens, and others, and the way that we do that is to help people, to give them the capabilities to create a compelling audience experience at scale. This compelling audience experience directly translates to decreased costs, increased revenues, and most significantly, the ability to create a positively differentiated total audience experience. So why does audience experience matter? We know that customers struggle with managing a differentiated brand journey at scale in this post-pandemic world where the external and internal audiences, they decide the platform, the channel, and the language. Organizations with best-in-class AX have a sustainable competitive advantage. It costs them less, it takes them less time, and with the dual pillars of audience experience, omni-channel messaging, and conversational AI, it allows them to do things that their competitors cannot. So what I'm going to do is go through some best practices that we've seen with different customers. I've tried to pull from customers in different regions, different industries. Some of these you may nod and smile and say, yep, we know that, keep going. Others may be newer to you. And then at the end, we will have a live demo because showing is a lot better than talking. So in terms of best practices, what are the basics? What's the starting point? The ability to talk to the customer on their preferred channel. We know WhatsApp, for example, has taken the world over. It's ubiquitous in many countries, but it's to really match what the user wants to use with the channel that they already know how to use and have on their devices. Any language, we no longer get to choose that or dictate that. And any mode. And I heard from the last speaker very clearly, some people want to speak, that is best for them, while others, whether it's for privacy, security, or some other reason, they want to be able to text. Maxline Global, a large logistics company out of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. And I will mention, by the way, we don't sell directly, by the way, we sell through our reseller partners, like our friend Union Studio with us today. So for a customer care use case, the best practice here, and I start with this because this really is the gold standard, that it's automation, the chatbot, the technology, the AI, plus the live agent, that they have created a collaborative system that it's not all chatbot, it's not all agent, but it's really pulling together the best of both worlds to handle what can be handled well with the chatbot, with the ability to bring in the live agent as needed. Bosch Indonesia, out of Jakarta, they have a customer service, and this one's very interesting in that they do very technical customer service. You can almost think of it as a tech support channel. They use a group chat, can be Telegram, can be Microsoft Teams, can be something else, that they use an internal group chat, so when someone is dealing with a customer, they can very quickly get things sorted internally, privately, so that they can then reply back to the customer with a good answer that has been validated, is accurate, and that they know will work. Looking at First Iraqi Bank out of Baghdad, they are very big on conversational banking, and with all that's going on in the world, what they are doing that is a true best practice is the ability to upsell. They're a bank, they're trying to make more money, they're trying to better serve the customers by understanding what's of value, that they have their own proprietary algorithm that looks at people's behavior and helps them through the customer journey, not just to complete a transaction, but to identify what do they want next, what will next add value to them. So the fact that this is built into the chat so that they can, at the end of the day, we know that many times times people come to us for conversational AI to take costs out of the business. I really get excited for the customers that are looking at how can we use different conversational AI capabilities to generate more revenues by bringing more value to the customer. Peugeot has a very interesting one out of France. They've had e-commerce for quite some time. Because of COVID, because of increasing petrol and fuel prices, if you're selling motorcycles, you're having a very, very good year. That they have a dedicated AI assistant, and that they're getting a lot of first-time motorcycle buyers, a lot of first-time motorcycle riders, a lot of questions from safety to insurance to how do you pick the best motorcycle. Well, we know that if you can have a dedicated salesperson, someone who stays with you, not just from the purchase experience, but onto the ongoing service and maintenance, and very few companies are able to do this. With AI, you are able to give someone from the get-go a targeted, dedicated AI assistant that stays with the customer throughout the lifespan. As they buy and they sell, and as they migrate to different products, that call it a personality, that dedicated assistant knows them, understands them, has all their information, but it has that same personality. So, hey, Ken, it's good to see you again. It's been a couple months. How can I help you today? That it is able to mimic the best qualities of a dedicated salesperson who knows you and understands your needs. Wingstop, for those who aren't familiar, this is a global fast food chicken restaurant. They are using chatbots not for ordering, not for delivery, which are more common use cases. They're using it for talent acquisition. How do we get entry-level people into the jobs we need to reduce the cost and get the highest quality workers that we can? And their best practice is for someone as they're applying, and we may not think of this with many white-collar jobs, I'm looking for a job, I can work 3 hours a day, I need to go to school. Where are the nearest restaurants? Not just physically, but the restaurants I can get to easily that have an open job, that are near the public transportation I have access to. I have a bus card, but I don't have a tram card. I have a subway card. So this ability to play matchmaker between candidate and the open role, and the big best practice we have seen with them is the ability for someone to say, I'm here, this is where I work, this is where I go to school, what are the places I can commute to be able to do it, and actually showing the commute, the full access to public transportation as part of selling them on working for Wingstop. With the city of Schwäbisch Gmünd, we're very proud of this one. We were originally architected in Germany, so this one is near and dear to our heart. They created a city concierge. And what is amazing about Hannah, the personality for the concierge, is that she is full-on, unapologetically Swabian. Because this is the heart city outside of Stuttgart, yes, she speaks and understands proper High German, as one would learn it in school, but she uses the local dialect and is able to understand the local dialect. So whether it is people who live in the city, visitors to the city, someone coming through on business, the ability for Hannah to, if you're speaking proper German, to throw in a few different words, to throw in the local phrases, the color, that it really differentiates her. We don't stereotype, of course, but oftentimes when we work with customers based in Germany, the chatbots are very efficient, very precise. They don't necessarily have a sense of humor. They don't necessarily have the sense of playfulness. Hannah, if you let her, will give you her favorite local recipe. So she really is steeped in the local culture, and that comes across. Because we've worked very closely with the government officials to be able to promote their city, both from a business and a tourist perspective, by really leaning into the culture, and their chatbot, Hannah, really fully embraces that, both from a language perspective and from a cultural perspective. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to introduce Joe again, and what he and his team at Unit Studio have created. They have created OLA, an on-demand emergency care use case for telemedicine. So Joe, if you'd like, I will stop sharing my screen and let you go ahead and share yours and tell us, what have you and your team created?
Awesome. Well, thanks, Ken. And thanks, everybody, for having me here. I wish I could be in the warm Portugal, but I'm here in Seattle, Washington, in the United States. And so I really appreciate you guys having me here to talk today. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yep.
Great.
Yes.
So here at Union Studio, we specialize in working with large healthcare organizations here in the United States to digitally transform their care experiences. Because more and more, as you guys know, as consumer experts, that you need to be able to improve the quality of your care experiences in order to continue to thrive, both as a profitable business and meeting all of these changing customer expectations. And so for us, we really think about it in three key pillars. Improving access to care. And so in the United States, there's licensure for being able to provide care within a specific area. And today, we look at the local hospital and the clinic area where a doctor works is kind of where they work. But in the future, these organizations are looking to meet their entire area of licensure. And so how do you go from, for Emory's case, Georgia to their entire state of licensure? And or Atlanta, Georgia, which is their city, to the entire state of Georgia. And then when we look at improving efficiency, today it's really staff service and office-based care with a lot of manual processes. So it's not necessarily the most efficient, but with improvements in the care experience, we moved towards self-service and hybrid care with automated processes. And something that we don't think a lot about today in the healthcare world within the United States is loyalty. It's mostly encounter-based, and so you see someone once, you say goodbye. It's a pretty generic experience, mostly frustrating. And a lot of times patients have to come to you. And so what we're working on is helping build that muscle with healthcare organizations to be total lifetime value focused. And really think about how you use branded experience to differentiate yourselves and go to the patients. And so as experts in consumer, you guys know this, but in the United States healthcare system, these are muscles that need to be developed. And so one of the things, and one of the projects I'm most excited to share you about is the digital transformation of Emory's emergency room. So we have kind of 911, right, which is someone's ability, if they're having what they believe is an emergency, to call emergency care. And right now, that emergency care has two key options that they can deliver you. When you're talking to them, they can either send you an ambulance to get to the hospital, or they can send the EMS, which is also likely to bring you to the hospital. And 911, we wanted to create a new option for them with Emory. We wanted to be able to provide patients with the ability to see a doctor right now. And so that third option does a lot of really great things for the experience. The first one is that Emory's emergency rooms, they have 11 emergency rooms, 11 hospitals, and they're always full. And you can imagine that a lot of the people who come into the emergency room are actually can be met outside of the emergency room. Their needs, almost 80% of the reasons why people come, can be handled in an acute care setting. And so really, by moving people out of the emergency room, you're saving your system money, and you're saving the patient money, and you're delivering them a better care experience. And then at the same time, 911, and the reason why people come to the emergency room is it's reliable in the sense that you can definitely access it. And so we had this challenge of trying to figure out a model where we could make getting video care right now while you're in the belief that you're having an emergency just as reliable and simple for people to use from the time that they're a child all the way to the time that they may be, very elderly. And so making it as simple as possible to deliver that. And it also had to be frictionless. It had to be in their channel of choice. we couldn't just assume that they would be on the telephone, or have to have someone come to them. We wanted to meet them where they were. We needed to require no downloads, no registration, no logon barriers, while still keeping it privacy and regulatory compliant. And so with that, our technology platform, Ola, which has omni-channel ability and which uses messaging as one of the many ways in which we connect all of the nerves inside of the healthcare system. We used that a lot in this solution. And Ola provides us the building blocks to be able to create experiences like this very quickly and test them out and learn from them. So I'm really excited to share with you guys the emergency room and how we hand this off. And so I'm going to do a live demo with you guys. And I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to be both the 911 person as well as myself as the patient. And so here's my phone. And I'm going to show you how we make this work. And so a 911 operator, like I said, most times only has access to send an ambulance. But when it's supported by Emory, what they can do is they have a portal that allows them to very quickly intake a basic piece of information to, to be able to send a link directly to the patient using the messaging channel of choice. And in this example, I'm going to be showing you text message, but with UIB, we can support over 70 different secure channels. And so we can really meet them in their channel of choice. And so by clicking send this patient link, I'm going to show you that on my phone, as a patient, you get, in this case, a text message that says, you can meet with your doctor right now. And can you guys still see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
So once they have this link, they can click it, and it instantly brings them into Emory's waiting room, where we're waiting for the doctor. And behind the scenes here, we've already notified a queue of doctors at Emory that there's an emergency patient who needs care. And we can use messaging here to be able to very quickly notify them. And remember, this is their channel of choice. And so once we've gotten them here, we can have them, we can continually engage with them. And then as soon as we can do this, if you join the appointment, it'll automatically launch the provider's video service of choice for the patient to be able to meet. And so here we're using Doxy.me, which is a very popular service here in the United States for providers to offer free telemedicine services. Hi, doctor. And so here we are. I'm meeting with a doctor right now. And it was that easy to use messaging to be able to make this possible to go ahead and start care. And so, of course, there's lots of messaging behind the scenes here. And from connecting with the doctors to connecting with the patients, and any use case that we find where we're really interested in driving that experience where we come to the patient and we come to the doctor, instead of having them to live inside of the systems and to be bogged down by the technology. And so, these type of care experiences are making a big difference in allowing us to expand that access and to improve the quality of the care experience that we deliver for patients. Happy to answer any questions. And would love to talk with you guys more about what we're doing with healthcare systems and messaging.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
So why don't we go ahead and move to the questions,
Yep.
Alan, if that works for you, and we can take questions on anything.
Absolutely. Well, we're just going to give you a round of applause for a working demo.